Hey, welcome to my channel. My name's Carter. I love talking about movies, horror movies, comic books, and superheroes. And tonight I just got out of seeing, honestly, one of the best surprises of the year for myself personally, and that was Transformers 1. Usually when I make these reviews, I like to run through who wrote, directed, the cinematography for these films. I know this film was directed by Josh Cooley and is of course based upon the Transformers comic books and the Hasbro toys. Before I continue with the video, did you see Transformers 1? If you have, what did you think about it? If you haven't, are you excited for it? Do you like the Transformers movies? Are you interested in seeing more? Let me know down in the comment section below and we can have a good discussion. Anyways, Transformers 1, let's get right into the positives. Far and away the biggest positive was that this movie was actually just a genuine surprise. Seeing the first trailer, it really did not seem like something I would enjoy that much, something I would even like. As much as I love Transformers, I have Lego Optimus Prime right there, and in all honesty, the Michael Bay movies are pretty fun. I really enjoy aspects of those. Obviously, they're not perfect films. They're not great films, but the live-action Transformers movies are a ton of fun, and I'm very nostalgic for like every single one of them besides The Last Night onward. Even Bumblebee, Bumblebee is great just by itself, and then Rise of the Beasts was fantastic. So, my ticket was pretty much bought when they announced a new Transformers film. I've seen every single one of them, including the animated one from the 80s, and so I was really looking forward to seeing this, especially when I found out that it was fully animated and it was set on Cybertron. The fact that it's a prequel set on Cybertron focusing on Orion Pax and D16 becoming Optimus Prime and Megatron immediately had me more interested than anything else. And then like I said, that trailer just really didn't do a lot for me, unfortunately. However, I'm happy to report the film is so much better than the trailer would sell it to be. Apparently the other trailers were much better. I didn't see any of them besides the first one, but I can totally vouch this film is really, really good. And far and away, the best aspect of this film is the focus on Orion Pax and D16, Optimus Prime and Megatron. I'll probably just refer to them as Optimus Prime and Megatron, so I apologize. Spoiler, I guess, not really, because it's in all the marketing. Surprisingly, the voice acting from Chris Hemsworth is really good here. He is obviously very respectful of Peter Cullen. He's mentioned it in interviews. And then Tyree Henry is phenomenal as Megatron here. Megatron kind of has like a different voice in a lot of different mediums, but it's always been Peter Cullen for Optimus Prime. And so it's kind of harder to get Optimus right, but Chris Hemsworth does a really good job. Both of them just put so much love and emotion and effort into their lines, and it makes their friendship just all the more believable and meaningful, and it makes their origins all the more just devastating as you see this film play out, and you know where it's going to go in the future. If it's not in the film, it'll be sometime in the future. You know they're destined to be at odds with one another, and that they just lead very, very different paths. So seeing them as friends, seeing them as like pretty much brothers in this film can be pretty heartbreaking. I think the best moments of this film is when they focus on that slow divide between Orion, or Optimus Prime and Megatron, sorry, and they focus on that divide, and they focus on the fact that the viewer knows this is Optimus Prime, this is Megatron, like this is not going to last. So what's going to happen? How's it going to break up? And I found that myself to be very, very compelling and very interesting. I could talk for hours about how good the last 30 to 40 minutes of this film are, because they truly took it to another level. I was really enjoying the film throughout. I thought that it had great action, good direction from, I believe, Josh Cooley, good writing throughout. You can tell that the writers, the director, and everyone involved is a really big Transformers fan with a lot of respect for everything, and I just found this to be extremely enjoyable, and I just had a ton of fun with it. But again, going back, more important than fun to me and more surprising than fun to me, I love to have fun. I have so much fun, obviously. Like pretty much everything I like is geared towards yay, fun. But this film just really drives home that relationship and that main conflict and story. And that was the big selling point in this film. It made the last act of this film just all the more emotional, all the more epic, and all the more interesting, because you can see the contrast between how they are in this film and then how they will be in the future. And that was just, again, supremely interesting to me. I absolutely adored that about this film. I also think that the animation was really good. I'm not a big fan of how they animated the faces. It looks a little wonky, but literally everything else looks fantastic. Even down to the world design when they're on Cybertron, on the surface or in the cities, it just looks so good. And then even just down to the Energon design and the way they animate it just looks fantastic. And so I thought that pretty much all of this film was really, really well done. And the writing, the directing, the editing was great. There's fun little edits in here that really add to the humor. With animation, you can kind of play around with edit times and different edits you can do to make it just a lot funnier. You can do jump cuts way easier in animation. And going into the mixed, I think that sometimes the voice acting from Keegan-Michael Key can get a little overbearing and just a little bit annoying. And the voice acting from Scarlett Johansson can be a little bit rote and a little bit like tropey in the first half. But again, this is a film pretty much aimed at children, aimed at kids. There's a lot of stuff here for adults or older people who really enjoy Transformers and really just want to kick back, relax, and enjoy a great story, which I can really appreciate. But at the end of the day, you kind of just have to sit back and say, okay, this is an animated movie marketed and geared towards kids. And so sometimes it's going to have some jokes that are just not that funny to you if you're above the age of like 12. And there were quite a few of those that really didn't make me laugh, especially like Bumblebee's recurring gag of wanting to be called Badassatron really was not funny to me whatsoever. That was like the big sore thumb in the film where I was like cringing every time it happened. Other than that, really the humor was pretty good. And a few more things that I appreciate about the movie. I was going to talk about the pacing maybe being a little slow, but then it just kind of sunk in that like all those moments that maybe people would consider slow or like, oh, like nothing's happening. It's building the relationship between Orion and Optimus to become more heartbreaking later on. And so I've seen a few people call it slow paced, and I was going to be like, oh, maybe I can see why. And I can't. I think that really every moment in this film is really just building that relationship between Optimus and Megatron, and I love the way they did that, and I love how they handled it in such a mature manner and took it very seriously. They let it sink in. They don't shy away from the adult stuff in this film, which I, again, adored. Overall, guys, Transformers 1 was a massive surprise for me. I'm walking out of the theater extremely happy. I would give the film overall like a 9 out of 10. Honestly, that last act was so good. Like, talk about leaving the theater on an extremely high note. This film was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and I can see myself rewatching it again and again and again. A big breath of fresh air for Transformers fans, and I highly recommend you go out and see it as soon as possible. Well, guys, that's all for me. Thank you so much for the support. I will get back to posting more regularly as soon as I can, but as always, have a great rest of your day.